Hey guys, it's Julie from Plan to Create, and I wanted to stop by and give you guys a quick update as to the planning system I'm currently in. I have recently shared my full half-letter discs setup. I will link you to that video up in the corner there. And for the most part, everything is like exactly the same, except that I am not using it anymore to plan out my weeks. And I thought I would explain that. I know that I have jumped back and forth between these guys, and it's probably a little confusing, but I've kind of touched on it before. The fact is that this system is super customizable. It is like I can create exactly what I need, and it takes a lot of thought and effort to do that. And so what happens is I pour myself into it, and then I just kind of get exhausted. And I'm like, okay, totally ready to work inside a system that's already created for me, and then I just go and I plug in my information. And so that's kind of where I'm at. I watched a video recently, I'll link it below if I can find it, but I've had such a love-hate relationship with this paper in the Hobonichi, and the gal in the video just kind of mentioned just how tactile it is, and just the fact that like when you have used it, there's just something really special about it if you kind of can embrace it. And I feel like by taking stamping out of the equation here in my Hobonichi, just like saying I am not going to stamp in this planner, I have been able to embrace this paper tenfold. I prefer using transparent stickers here in this planner, and I found lovely ones like this from Lightly Inked that I've just enjoyed kind of sprinkling on my pages. And of course I do love the planner spots kits to stack up a nice sidebar for me. So there's just things that I really can embrace about this planner, and the reality is that in this season, although I'm home and I'm not traveling and I would have time to really dive in and dig in and specify exactly what I need for my planner, I feel like some of that creative energy has been poured into other projects, which I'll give you a peek at as well. So if you have followed me for a while, you do know that I love to stamp, and I have tried so hard over the years to work stamping very functionally into my planners. And I feel like I've just hit a spot where I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to try anymore. I am going to stamp for fun. I'm going to quit making it harder than it needs to be. And I have taken apart this Hemlock Oak. This came as a beautiful bound planner. It's gorgeous paper, and it's a place that I can go ahead and stamp in all the inks and not freak out and worry if it's coming through the pages like I would normally worry in my Hobonichi or even on my 32-pound paper. So this is become a spot, it's like a commonplace journal for me. There's lots of terms for that, but a creative journal. Basically, this is a place where I am playing with my stamps. I'm throwing in some photos. I'm using up some washi and just other products that I've had laying around. I'm kind of combining some new with old. So I'm flipping you through here my September pages, even though we're in the month of October. I work behind in this. This is a planner. It is all laid out, dated. It's a vertical layout, but I obviously take or leave that throughout the weeks. And I have just enjoyed this so much. So this has become kind of that release for me. Like I'm no longer trying to combine creativity as much inside my planner. I'm allowing my planner to be that, to, you know, forward plan, to jot ideas and goals and things that we need to get done. And then I'm playing in this format. And that's been a big shift for me this last month. And it's just kind of been liberating. I have enjoyed the process. I feel footloose and fancy free here in this book. You can tell that I don't operate by a lot of rules. I, lay stuff right here and then I build out from it. I don't have a rhyme or a reason. I don't do it every day. And so I'm going to kind of show you a little bit ahead here. And you're going to see some of these punches are wonky. Like I actually double punched that because I wanted to punch through some washi up there. I mean, this is so imperfect. I want to mention that to you. A lot of people have asked like, oh, how did you take it apart? It was ugly. Like I used whatever tools I had on hand. I probably could have used some better tools. It's not a perfect binding by any stretch, but the paper stayed together in the discs and it works for me. So I want to start by saying that. And that it's also a travesty that I took apart a beautifully bound book. I feel awful about that. I wish that I could just get these pages without the binding, and that's something that they're considering offering in the future, but they're just not able to at this time. So I'm doing the best I can with what I have and really loving this. I will be using a Hemlock Oak again in 2023 in this format, which is just creative journal, play space. And so like I said, sorry, I was flipping over here to October. I'm currently filming this on the 20th, and you can see I have nothing done here. So this is for sure more of a memory journal for me. This is not meant to be a current, tracking my events. anything like that. That is what my planner is for. And this just happens to be a planner that I'm using as a journal. So just want to kind of clarify that I'm not using this as a planner, although it is a tool that you could absolutely use as a planner. So it's a little confusing. And like I said, I've definitely taken it apart and disrupted it. I currently just have some plastic covers that I cut down. They were Levenger like letter size, I believe, and I just trimmed them down. I have a corner rounder tool that I was able to, you know, chop through this paper, punch it. So that's what I'm using just for my covers to have on each side. And then this is some acetate paper from Heidi Swap that I thought was really pretty. So I just kind of kept that there in the front as a cover, a little sticker I found in a shop in Coronado Island. And then I just also wanted to show you guys, inks can show up very differently on different papers. And so it's really important to me to bring my new inks through and test them out on these pages. So I have taken out some like extra pages. You can see this was from like Memories of June and Planning July, which I'm not using in this format. So I've just taken some of those pages and used those to be my ink sampler pages. So I'm kind of showing you through, these are all my close to my heart inks, close to my heart. And then these are from the stamp market, and I just got these this week. They show up so beautifully. I cannot explain. They're almost like a thick, I don't know what to say. I don't know, it's sticky, like thick sticky, but they like just kind of glob onto your stamp, and then they perform beautifully on this paper. So you can see like these are slightly, I don't know if they're dry. I don't know what the difference is. I love the way this looks. There's times for that, but then there's times for this too that I'm like, ooh, wow, that is really pretty. So I'm definitely going to be adding a few more of the little Stamp Market cubes to my repertoire. I'll show a picture here really quick of the little cubes and the ones that I have recently ordered, but I already have a list of some more that I'd like to add because they do really show up so beautifully. So that's kind of my creative journal project, and I think I brought you guys along for some of my August. I feel like I've shown these pages before in my August plan with me. I did not do any process videos throughout the month of September, but I will try to add one in for October. I mentioned in my last video, but I subscribed to the Studio Calico kits. And so as those come, I collect them here in a little tray and bits and pieces. I recently switched to the Traveler's Notebook kit. And so, it comes with all these different papers, and I don't intend to use this like as a traveler's notebook. So you can see I've already taken it apart. It was stapled in 2 places. So I have just taken those staples out, and I'm already starting to use the paper in different ways. But this gives you kind of a glimpse of what arrives. I figured that this was something that I could use more so than the Documenter kit that I had been subscribed to, because those are very Project Life formatted, and I'm just not doing a project like that right now. I picked up this cute little storage bin from Jen D Handcrafted, and so it's just kind of a fun place to corral my current kit contents. And these, you can see, are some of the things that I ordered. Some of them are add-ons and some of them came with my kit. And then you get a stamp in the kit, as well as some of these extra little vellum goodies and a roll of washi. So these are the supplies that I will primarily be reaching for throughout the month of October as I document my weeks. But I will also, whatever is left over from my previous kits, those are also free game, and just stamps of any and all sorts I love to grab and include. I also subscribe to the stamp kit from Studio Calico. You can see I've already put this guy to use, so you'll see that in my little October daily. These are really like good drivers for me as the kit, like once it's shipped, like when I get the shipping notice, then I really try to push through the previous month's materials that I have and get those done. So like my September pages, I was super motivated to wrap those up so that when my new kit arrives, I can start to work on some October pages, which clearly it's the 20th. I think it came last week, so I haven't exactly gotten started yet, but I do have that goal of working on that this week. I think a process video is probably the best way to kind of explain how I'm using this, so I will link you to my last process video. It totally shares like how sporadic I am and that I have literally no rhyme or reason. I know that I started right here, like for this page, like I just was like, oh yeah, that was the temperature still in September, just like over here dying, like did not feel like fall at all. And then I just kind of built from that and just kept going out towards the edges. It's just been a really fun, no rules, very footless, fancy-free project for me. The last thing I wanted to share with you guys, I have shared some little peeks over on my Instagram of this, and basically Heba from My Little Journal and Nancy Damiano absolutely inspired me to consider trying an October daily project. It's something that I have never committed to in the past, and I've heard of December daily, but to be honest, December is a month in which I just cannot commit to a project like that. I have 2 family birthdays in the midst of all of the other holiday comings and goings, and so memory keeping is just not a focus for me in the month of December. But I felt like this was a really good month, and it was a time that I could attempt to take on a little bit of a project. So I literally went through my phone, I went through my iPhotos, just searched by October, and any and everything that popped up I went through and I just favorited some of the pictures that I thought looked fun and that I would like to work with. And from that point I dug through some old printed pictures that I had in files, and I just printed some of those in different sizes and have kind of been off to the races. So I don't want to go into this super specifically. If you want me to, comment below and I could do more of like, you know, the products that I'm specifically using and some of the stories behind these pages. But I want you to just know that I am absolutely another no rules project. I just feel like these are not all specifically about 2022. I'm pulling from various years and just anything, like I said, that has anything to do with the month of October. Some of these pages have photos, others do not. So it's been really fun for me, again, just to play and to create something without rules. There's a lot of rules, it feels like, in memory keeping sometimes, and I am enjoying operating without them. So I am basically adding as I go. You'll see that it's the 20th of the month. I am only at day 7, and I feel like I will do what I can this month, and whatever I don't complete, I can tuck all my goodies that are Halloween related into a little packet, and I can pull them out next year and just keep going. That's how loosely I'm approaching this project. I don't feel like I have to complete all 31 days this year. Like, I'm baby stepping my way back into memory keeping, you guys, and I refuse to, like, you know, make it harder than it has to be. So that's just a quick little way that I can play with some of these fun goodies, participate a little bit, dabble my toes in memory keeping, and I'm just using some goofy fun products. Like I have this Noted by Post-it sticky note book, and I've been using that a ton. You can see on day 4 I actually stamped the big number 4 and then cut it out, and that became like my colorful accent. So it's been really fun to work with what I have, which is kind of funny. I want to go back to this really quickly. There's a little quote, I don't know if you guys can read that, but it says, "Start where you are, use what you have, do what you can." And it's a quote from Arthur Ashe, and that's 100% what I'm doing here. I bought a little kit from Studio Calico, and instead of, you know, purchasing a whole album and making it official, I just was like, you know what, I have lots of discs, I have a disc punch, I can just do a little disc album and be on my way. And like I said, just kind of dip my toes back into memory keeping. I have done it for years, but this is a really fun way that I've been kind of just testing it out and playing with some photos and some stories again. These were from Studio Calico. It came with a bundle with a stamp set, a bunch of these cute papers, some washi tape, and other little like ephemera that I'm able to include in these pages. So I hope that catches you guys up. My desk is literally off screen, is just covered in stuff. Like I have photos that I've printed from October that I want to work with. I have inks and stamps just laying everywhere. I'm not going to give you a glimpse of that, but I will say I do have a new desk. I'll show a quick picture of that, and I'm just enjoying spreading out and just having a really fun time using this period of my life to create and to just kind of explore what that means for me. And like I said, it's a little bit less of creativity in a planner. When I first started planning, I felt like I wanted to be creative. I needed that creative time, but I also really needed to manage my family's schedule. And I don't have that pressure anymore. My kids are grown, they're independent, and so I can actually just use my creative time creatively. I don't have to like make it productive as much anymore, and so I'm definitely exploring that and really enjoying it right now. I don't know where you're at in your stage of life. It'd be fun to hear from you guys in the comments, and if you have further questions on any of these specific setups or projects, let me know and I'll do my best to answer. Alright guys, I hope that serves as a little catch up, and hopefully I'll be sharing some more soon. I definitely work a little bit easier without the camera on me, so I'll use that as an excuse, but I will try to set it up and just film away while I'm in the process. Alright guys, take care.